Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another episode of The Day After Show, The Day After podcast, where we talk about everything to do with what happened in the whatever fixture Chelsea seem to have played. We've beaten Nottingham Forest 3-0 in the Premier League, and it's a good day. It's a good weekend. Spurs have lost. Liverpool have lost. I mean, I seem to be much happier than Charlie and Scott. I mean, I know you want Arsenal to drop points and everything, but I'm happy that Liverpool lost, mate. Sometimes like that, you just got to look at it and go, I hate them both. I want them both to do badly, and that's where I am. So I'm very happy. I've enjoyed the weekend an awful lot. But yeah, big up to all of you that are joining us live, or if you're watching this pre-recorded. We've got Tony, we've got Charlie, we've got Scott here as well. Tony, mate, back again. We're starting to get some rhythm now, mate.
Back again, that's right.
How's everything?
Very happy. Yeah, good. I should be at the Ajax game on Wednesday night, so I should see you then.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'll be at Ajax, yeah. And Sunderland. I'll be at both of those. So, yes, man. Yeah, obviously happy, a win. And the result is a great result. 3-0 away from home is fantastic. After an international break, you'd think, there's always the possibility that things can go wrong. And obviously juggling the pack, Maresca on the sidelines. 3-0 away win at Forest, albeit that they are pretty poor, but it's a win. I think it's a little bit flattering. I don't think we were great in the first half. Obviously, I don't think our first attack was late in the game, sort of like in the first half, about 37, 38 minutes. But then, of course, he made the changes second half, and it was pretty much game over after the first 5 minutes of the second half, wasn't it? And then we kind of, it was actually, to be fair, they created a few chances then, didn't they? But then obviously we killed it off late with Reece, Reece James. But yeah, happy, mate.
No, I'm absolutely chuffed as well. I mean, Scott, you weren't at the game. I presume you obviously watched it from home. What did you think before the match? And obviously, when you saw the final result, were you surprised?
Surprised in a sense of, like, I kind of agree with Tony said. I think the result flatters us based on how we played in that first half, but I think it was deserved in terms of we ended up being the better team, especially after that second half performance. And yeah, I think I understood in terms of just when the lineup came out, whatnot, rotation that was done in certain areas. I think some decisions were bad, but were rectified come the substitutions. And I think there are certain players now that are staking a claim in terms of starting or in terms of getting more minutes if they're already starting or getting some appearance or whatever. And so, yes, I think it was good to see some players get games. I do think that you see some rustiness from some players, which is going to happen because they haven't really had the minutes, or they haven't really had the opportunity to have minutes so far. But no, I think there was plenty of positives you could take from the game yesterday, which I assume we'll talk about. But yeah, I think overall good result. We're up to 5th level on points with Tottenham, obviously, who lost today. Only, I was looking, a couple of points behind Manchester City. Still 5 points off Arsenal. But yeah, it's a good result. It's a good 3 points, and we can take that going forward. We've got another not easy game, but another game we should hope to win in midweek, and then obviously we've got Sunderland at the weekends. Chance to maybe put a bit of distance between one of the teams level on points plus at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Looking at the table is a bit weird. It's still very tight. Anything can happen. It's hard to predict anything, but at the same time, you can see the flaws that different teams have. I suppose that's where I become more confident. I was taking the piss earlier when we were talking off stream, saying that we're in the race. And like in the grand scheme of things, I know that we're not going to win it, but I do think we're in the race. Because I mean, we're in the race last season, but we dropped out in 2025. But for me, I just want to see us improve. I think that's a lot easier when teams around you are getting worse. And I would say that pretty much everyone that I'm looking at, maybe bar Arsenal, look worse. I don't think City look great. I don't think that Liverpool look anything special this season. You know, I see a lot of weaknesses, especially defensively with a lot of these teams. So that doesn't mean that we're perfect, but I'm seeing signs that we could definitely push for third place or fourth place. Fourth place easily. I think realistically we finish third. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I mean, it's hard to make a concrete prediction at this time. Charlie, mate, we obviously came back from the game in the car with Dharmesh. We did the fan cams, and then after I did yours, I said to you, mate, can you do you mind holding the camera for Dharmesh's? And I said, I'll do a quick sound check. Bloody sound didn't work on any of them. So if anyone's wondering why, it's 'cause we've got silent videos. What was the problem again, Charlie? I can't remember what it was.
Man, I don't know.
Or something like that.
It just didn't record the sound.
So we spent about 45 minutes to an
Oh.
hour for nothing. Yeah.
Sickening.
Well, at least we
It
won.
is.
Well, at least we won.
Yeah.
So, like, if we'd lost and that had happened, it would have been even worse.
It's the same thing happened in Munich as well. I did all those fan cams, and I mean, we got the raw audio, but it was like it's not very good if you can't hear it in a mic. But yeah, Charlie invented a chant as well. Would you like to share the chant with everyone?
No, I didn't invent a chant. Let's not do this.
What's the song?
No, mate, I didn't make
hear
the song. No, mate, because it needs the music in the background. It doesn't work without it.
Yeah, but we get done for copyright, mate. We can't do that.
Well, you've got a video, haven't you? Why don't you play it? If you really want everyone to hear it, why don't you play it?
We want to hear you sing it, Charlie.
No, it's not.
Even
No,
Tony wants to hear you.
No, it was no good. It was no good.
Guys, if you want to hear Charlie sing,
people aren't here to
then
hear.
run up the likes.
Not here to hear that.
Run up the likes. How many likes to get you singing, Charlie? How many?
No,
Scott, how many likes?
It's not possible. The amount of likes is not. It's not possible to achieve.
We'll just go with 100. 100's pretty basic. We'll go with 100. Give me 100 likes and Charlie will sing.
All right. It's like right. Yeah.
Right. Come on then. Let's talk football, boys. Let's talk football. Yeah. I don't think we deserve to win that game 3-0. I mean, let's start off with the negatives, shall we? And then we can go on because there's a lot of positives.
We'll get them out of the way.
We'll get them out of the way nice and early. I don't think we deserve to win as comfortably as we did. I think we deserve to win the game. But if I was watching it, well, as a neutral, if I was watching, I say Forest have to score at least 3 goals. If I'm being slightly more realistic, I say 2. Now, by that logic, you could say we still win 3-2, but momentum is everything. Confidence is important. I don't necessarily think we score the last goal that we did if we weren't winning comfortably. So, I mean, what's your take, guys, on the way we defended? Because they created quite a lot of clear-cut chances. Gibbs White had one. He had a couple, to be fair. And I don't know. I feel like they should have buried it.
I think a lot of that, though, was not from them creating chances. It was from us gifting them the opportunities. I mean, literally.
That's what I mean, though, Charles. That's what I mean.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, I mean, most of what they did, like, there wasn't an awful lot of good play. By the way, Forest weren't bad in the first half, but there wasn't like a lot of good play for them. It's more the fact that we were particularly poor. Literally, Gusto in the first couple of minutes playing a short back pass, they're almost in for a goal. And most of those opportunities did come from our own mistakes. Now, I get it, Caicedo wasn't available. He was on the bench. Obviously, wasn't fit to start. Enzo wasn't available at all. So that's 2 big misses, major misses in midfield. I think they were saying it's like the first time in 65 Premier League games that Caicedo hasn't started for us to sort of show how important he is. And look, Lavia starting, no problems. His first start of the season, he's probably going to be a little bit rusty. It really didn't help him having to basically play in midfield on his own with Gusto alongside him. Now, the Gusto thing worked against Liverpool, but Caicedo was there and he can basically run the midfield on his own. Lavia, in his first start of the season, is not really at the level yet to do that. And then when you've got Gusto, who's not a midfield player, doesn't really know what he's doing, then it's there were big problems in there. I thought Andre Santos really struggled to get into the game in that sort of more advanced position. I didn't really get that. And if we're being a bit critical, I mean, look, Maresca rectified it at half time with the triple sub, which is kind of an admittance that, what I did didn't really work, but he swapped it and he made the difference. But for me, it would have made more sense to have gone with Reece. If you want to start both Gusto and Reece, it would have made more sense to go with Reece in the midfield and have Gusto at right back. Because in fairness to Gusto, I know he's not been amazing this season, but when we actually have played him as an overlapping fullback or just as a traditional fullback, he hasn't been that bad. It's when you start getting him on the ball a lot in the middle of the park and he's not really got the quality in there to do what we need to do. That's when we start having a few problems. So I think a lot of the problems stem from that. We didn't move the ball forwards quickly enough. The attackers weren't in the game at all. Joao Pedro, again, was a passenger in that first half. Garnacho was poor. Neto was all right in the first half. He was obviously much improved in the second half. But yeah, I think a lot of the problems stemmed from the fact, basically stems from personnel issues. And maybe the players that came in didn't perform well enough. And I think Maresca could have made some better choices in terms of the way the midfield was set up.
What do you think,
agree.
Scott?
I think that from a defensive standpoint, I don't think we were too bad defensively when you look at like individuals. Like Reece and Cucurella had nothing to do basically up until they actually decided to bring wingers on, because they spent most of all the first half and some of the second half playing with no wide players outside their wing backs, but their wing backs didn't really do much going forward, so it was kind of weird. Achimpong, I thought, was very good. He didn't really have anything to do. He handled at 1 year as best he could, and then Igor Jesus, when he came on, really well as well. Honestly, like Charlie said, it was kind of just a couple of personnel, like Gusto and Chalobah mainly, in terms of just giving them chances, because they didn't really create anything of substance on their own. It was us giving them the ball. And I think most of what they did create was just us having issues in midfield or having issues playing out from the back, which we're going to have this conversation every single game that Chalobah plays, especially when he plays left centre back, because he can't play out of the back. He's not great at playing out of the back anyway on his strong side. He's okay, but it's not great. That is magnified by 10 times when he plays on the left, because the only thing he can do with his left is play back to Sanchez. And you saw that again. Like I said, this is a conversation. It's him or Tosin at this point. We're going to be stuck with these two playing from now till January, maybe longer if it's not addressed. But like this is just what we've got to kind of go through and experience. The Gusto thing is just, I don't even think it's just the way, like him playing in midfield being the issue. I think the way he was used was wrong. You look against Liverpool, it works because he got asked to do a really simple job. Just be a nuisance and press the living hell out of, whether it was Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai when he was playing in there, Wirtz when he came on. Just press them. Like on the ball, we know you suck, but press them to death. This game, Forest don't play the same way. Their midfield wasn't playing the same way. I mean, they've got Sangare who moves like a truck. He wasn't really covering a lot of ground. The only one you've really got to cover in that sense is Anderson, who I think was playing the opposite side of the pitch to Gusto. So you're only really covering Luiz, who isn't that type of midfielder in terms of running around the pitch, covering a lot of grass. So all of a sudden, Gusto's having to do more on the ball, and he just sucks on the ball. Like it's tough, but he just is really bad. And so that's what you got. And I think what you saw with Lavia, it was like Charlie, it was like you saw when Caicedo come in the second half. He is able to cover ground way better than Lavia and almost cover for two midfielders or 1.5 midfielders. So even though you've got Gusto not really doing much, he can cover that because he's just that good. Lavia, with his injuries and just the way he is as a player, he's not covering that ground. Like he's just not covering that ground. So when you've got Gusto doing nothing, he's having to try and cover him, and he just couldn't do it. Like he just wasn't doing it in the first half, and I felt bad for him in that sense. Yeah, that it just wasn't working. And then the Santos thing, like that's a criticism I put on Maresca in terms of he's having to come into a game where he's having to play a position he's not used to, especially in this system. He doesn't really play the 10. Even at Strasbourg, they didn't play a 10 when he was there. They played 2 8s. Or it's like the same system Amarim's using at the moment. He was one of the 6s. So I have to play a role he's not used to, with players he's not used to. Like, I don't expect us to ever play that midfield again, potentially, for the rest of the season.
No.
Yeah, so you're having to ask Santos in a position he's not used to, with guys he's not used to playing with, when he's not had a lot of minutes in the team because you haven't brought him on in games, or you've given him 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, to pick up the slack for one midfielder and do everything you ask Enzo to do when he wasn't even really playing the Enzo role. He's playing like the Palmer role, if anything, higher up the pitch. And he was bad. Like, I'm not even trying to defend. He was just bad. But I think you saw it was a lot of like, there was some level of chemistry issue. Like, you could almost tell that some players were playing like or starting the first time or like hadn't had a minute.
There was a point in the first half where like he had to get a load of instructions from Caballero. I don't think he actually understood what was being asked of him or what he was meant to be doing. And I don't totally blame him personally for that. But you know, we are going to have these issues when we've got a lot of new players who haven't really played in this system much or haven't played with the players that they're playing with. There are going to be some teething issues, and it's no surprise to see that we are having a few issues in midfield and whatnot. But I think two things highlighted is one, actually how important Enzo Fernandez is to this team, and I still think there's a large section of Chelsea fans that, for whatever reason, don't rate him or don't think he's that good. But again, you see when he's not playing how much he's actually missed. And I think the bigger worry is, obviously, if Enzo had been there, then I think we would have been better in that first half in midfield for sure. But also, it's a bit of a worrying insight that, because at some point we're going to be without Caicedo for a run of matches. That is going to happen at some point. I'm not saying it might not be this season, but at some point, Caicedo, whether we want to admit it or not, will pick up an injury and will miss a run of games. For me, the bigger concern is that first half performance could be a potential snapshot into something regular if anything happens to Caicedo. And that's something that I think we really need to work on big time.
I think you make a great point, Charlie. Go on, Scott. Go on.
I'll go very quickly before Tony comes in. On that point, I do think it would work better if Santos had been next to Lavia. I'd have been interested to see how that would have looked. And that was a bit annoying that Santos came off at halftime. I'd like to see him in there with Caicedo, but it is what it is. But I do wonder whether that would have worked better. I do wonder if you end up just having those two together, or you have someone like Asugo, I know who's injured at the moment, in there. It looks better. I wonder how much of the dysfunction was how it was because of Gusto being in there.
Yeah, just going back to your point as well, Charlie. Like, I completely agree with what you're saying about Caicedo, and in terms of that game specifically, how many of the other teams would have given us the opportunity to actually remain in this game if they'd have just had a bit more quality? I mean, I'm looking at the table. I see West Ham, Wolves. I think Burnley take advantage of that first half. I think that Leeds take advantage of that. I think that Sunderland take advantage, and that's a real problem. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still very happy about the result. I mean, that's why I wanted to get it out of the way now. I just thought, let's just talk about it. Because we know there's issues, but there's a lot of positives to talk about as well. But I don't see a team that will do what we did at the beginning of last season consistently, outscoring constantly 3-4, like we saw it against Spurs. You say that. I don't think that we're going to do that consistently. I don't see that.
Just very quickly on scoring, right? We're actually the second highest scorers in the Premier League this season on 16 goals, with no Delap and no Cole Palmer for virtually the entire season so far. So scoring goals actually hasn't been a problem for us this season. It's been discipline issues and defensive problems.
But I mean, Charlie, my point is, though, we're not outscoring teams. Does that make sense? Like, when we beat West Ham, we thrashed them, but that was just demolition. We drew against Brentford,
mate, in all the games we're winning, we're outscoring teams. So we are outscoring teams.
Okay, that's not my point. My point is that when we're scoring all these goals, if we're scoring loads of goals, it's not taking away from what our defensive. I can't get the words out today. From our defensive mistakes, it's not taken away from that, and I don't think that we can go into this season with I don't think that playing that way you're going to win many games if other teams take advantage of the first half, which is what Forest couldn't do. That's my point. I mean, I'm still very optimistic, as I said earlier. Like, I don't think we're going to win the league, but I do think we can challenge. But I was very disappointed. I will say as well, Scott, you thought that I haven't said it yet. You thought that I was going to be complimenting Garnacho. I thought Garnacho was terrible, mate. I thought he was poor. Like I was saying it throughout the match. I don't think he's a terrible footballer. I think he does try things. He tries to make things happen. but nothing came off. And a bit like Santos, like they both just looked like boys. They didn't look comfortable at all. And with Santos, obviously, it's not his natural position. Fair enough. You've got to adapt. I do expect more from Garnacho, mate. I do expect more. I wasn't happy with that.
That's a typical Garnacho performance for me.
He's had some good games for us, though, Scott. He has had some good games. So you can't sit here and say that he hasn't performed.
Outside of Liverpool, which I didn't even think was that good, what good games has he had?
He had a good game when he came on his debut against Brentford.
Yeah, but we're talking about 10 minutes there.
He was good against Bayern Munich when he came on off the bench. Like, I've seen good signs from him. I'm not saying that he could be the best player in our team, but I'm not seeing a bad player. I'm seeing a player with potential. I'm seeing a player that, you know what? I prefer what I'm seeing from Garnacho a lot more than Jamie Gittins. I think against Lincoln in that first half when we were horrendous, Garnacho was probably one of our better players.
We're talking about Premier League footballers against League One opposition. Like you would expect that level of performance. So at the end of the day, right?
But what about the other players then? This is my point. I'm not saying he's our best player, but I'm saying he's had good moments. I'm saying
he has. But ultimately, the level of the wide players outside of Neto and Esteban has been, to be honest, has been really quite poor. We just have to be straight up about it, you know. The level from Garnacho and the level from Gittins so far this season, there's loads of time to sort it out, and I'm sure like they'll come good and whatnot. But if we're basing it on what we've seen so far, and that's all we can do, then the level from those two players has not been of the standard required.
I think Garnacho deserves time. I think you can clearly see that Gittins is not good enough. I think you can see that 100%. Gittins is quality 100%, and that for me that's a loan. You just got to loan the guy out because I don't want to lean on Jamie Gittins if we're losing a game. But Garnacho, I see him as a player. I suppose you could say similar to Madueke in a sense when we first signed him. I liked Madueke when we first brought him in. By the time we sold him, I was pretty much sick and tired of him. But I feel like Garnacho has potential. I mean, that's literally everything about this project. But, you know, I'm seeing good signs from the guy. I'm not seeing a player that is useless. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I remember Don said during the Liverpool game, he was talking about Jamie Gittins. He was talking about driving at players. You know, if you've got the right intentions and you make mistakes, it's not a bad thing. It's when you don't even try and do the right thing. And that's the most frustrating thing. I remember Sanchez last season, the amount of times that he didn't shoot or didn't, he could have been more direct and he chose the safe option. It's so frustrating. And I know it's different when you go to the stadiums and you watch this stuff, because when you're at home, you don't mind players being patient some of the time. But I think that you have to, as a match-going fan, you want players that are going to do the right thing. I see a lot of positive signs with Garnacho, so I'm very hopeful. But
one of us does.
What's that?
Like I said, I'm glad one of us does.
What about you, Tony? What about you?
Right, okay. Well, I thought the first half was just simply personnel, and one of the questions that you asked was, do we feel that better opposition would have took advantage of the fact that we were relatively poor and quiet? I think the difference was that we had possession of the football 74% of that game in the first half. So I don't really think they knew exactly how to play the game. I think we're kind of caught in between two minds, and I think that it was only poor, sloppy passes that kind of they created their best opportunities. I don't think we were great in the first half at all. I agree with most of what was being said earlier on, especially the Gusto and Reece James scenario. Don't get that. They should have just switched roles. It would have been much better. But I think a good thing about Maresca having to watch the game high up in the stands is maybe he got a bird's eye view of where he needed to make those changes. And to be fair to him, he made decisions straight away in the second half, and we capitalised. Within 5 minutes that second half, we were 2-0 up. And you could argue the game was pretty much wrapped up there and then. So I think right now it's hard, isn't it, to kind of be too critical because it's a 3-0 away win. It wasn't a great performance first half. It wasn't even a great performance second half. It's just that we took our chances. And, but we did so without the manager, on the touchline, without coming after an international break, as I said earlier, and obviously without key players that are instrumental in what you regarded as how good we were last season. we haven't got those players. Those players aren't available. I get your point about Caicedo. What are we going to be like if he picks up, a month or two out? Then how are we going to address that situation then? But I guess we'd have other players coming back in as well. So, and also, I think Lavia as well, as you say, it's just a bit rusty, isn't he? He's had just his first full game, first full start, and for that reason, he's going to be a little bit rusty, you know. So I don't think we can be really too judgmental. I think we have to kind of take the positives more than the negatives from that one.
100%.
Yes, because it's a win, and it's an away win, and it's a 3-0 away win, and I think, and also the only thing that I suppose the most concerning things were when we went 2-0 up, we allowed them back into the game. Yeah. I think our disciplinary record as well is the reason why we're perhaps not sitting top of the table right now, as we've mentioned off screen.
Oh, it absolutely is, yeah.
Because we've definitely got a discipline problem, and we really do need to address that. We're giving away cheap yellow cards. Esteval right at the end. There was no reason for him to do that. Obviously, Malagusto, it's all... I mean, actually, it's been a red card every single game if you include the manager in that. You know, that's not good, is it? You know, so I don't know. I'm going to take the positives out of that one. It's, you know, we're sitting okay right now. You know, we're, as you say, the league is very, very condensed. You know, I think, as I said off here again, from 2nd to 11th, there's only 4 points in it. There's a lot of clubs there, yeah, which, you know, I think everyone's beating everyone, and I don't think anyone's really playing fantastically well. Even Arsenal, if you listen to what their supporters are saying, they're actually quite self-critical about the way they're playing, but they're being consistent. Yeah. So, look, I was a little bit, in a way, I wanted Liverpool to win that game really, because I think none of us actually think we're going to win the league this year, but I don't think any of us would be able to stomach Arsenal winning it more than anybody else. So, as far as I'm concerned, Liverpool or Manchester City, I haven't got an issue with it. Probably less so Manchester City, but I certainly don't want Arsenal winning the league. So, you know, I think we just have to. We need to get these players back. You know, it's shit news about obviously Palmer. He's out for quite some time now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's out for like 5-6 weeks. Yeah. He might be back for Barcelona or Arsenal end of November.
Yeah, the Arsenal game. But I mean, that's going to be a big game, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But listen, it's early days. It's only 8 games into the Premier League, and we are in 5th spot right now. Is that right? We're only a point behind Liverpool, which were last season's champions. 2 behind Manchester City, who sit in 2nd spot. That's quite positive, really, isn't it? If you think about it.
Yeah. Do you know what the frustrating thing is as well, right? Is that bar a couple of stupid red cards, we would be top of the league. I know it doesn't really mean much after 8 points.
I agree.
But the conversation is so different. And obviously, football's not ifs and buts, and every team can do ifs and buts. But the reality is that we should have five more points. We should have beaten Brighton.
We were cruising, Brighton.
And we should have held cruising. Yeah, we were. Yeah. And we should have held on against Brentford. So that would be 5 more points, and we'd be joint top with Arsenal at this point. And it's a very different conversation. Yeah, and Man United as well. You know,
that was that 5 minutes sending off? Was it?
Yeah. So, like, this is the thing. We're given the fact that, you know, we've not seen our best team play on really more than one occasion this season, given the fact the key personnel that are missing. Yeah, there's been some frustrating moments and some poor performances, like the Brighton capitulation in the Man United game and gifting the goals in the Bayern game. But considering, you know, the no real proper pre-season, considering those injury issues, I know we've not played amazingly well in a number of those games of our games this season, but we are finding a way to pick some results up. And now, you know, you touched on it earlier, Tony, we're looking for consistency. We know we can beat the best teams in a one-off game, but we need to be stringing a run of like 4 or 5 wins together. You know, I look at the next games between now and the next international break. We've beaten Forest. You've got Ajax Wednesday. Then you've got Sunderland at home. Then
that's a hard game.
Yeah, and then you've got Wolves in the Carabao Cup. Then you've got Spurs away. Then you've got Wolves at home in the league. You're looking at those next sort of 4 league games, and you're sort of thinking, all right, the Tottenham one might be difficult, but we know we've got a very good record against them. You're sort of thinking with Spurs, Wolves, and and Sunderland in our next 3 league matches, that's got to be 9 points. And that's the consistency we need to be finding, is stringing wins together. And those are the games that I worry about us in, and the games that we should be winning. And the games where we're underdogs or not fancied, I don't worry about us, because we've got evidence of performing well. But it's those games against the teams that we should be beating where we do tend to shoot ourselves in the foot and come unstuck. That's why, you know, wins against, I know it might sound stupid, but wins against Sunderland and Wolves at home actually are probably more beneficial for us in the long run than, say, a win over Liverpool is.
Do you think that's partially because of the style that we're up against when we play against, you know, other teams who are willing to sit back, concede possession, as opposed to just a lack of pressure?
But obviously, it certainly helps us when we play against teams who come out and play, because, you know, you've got the space, and obviously that does help. We're still working out how to, we still struggle against breaking teams down that put a lot of men behind the ball. And that's something, you know, that we need to improve. And that's something that has got better, but there's still a lot of room for improvement there. But yeah, look, it clearly does suit us when teams come out and play. But yeah, we've got to get better at breaking sides down, because if we're being totally honest, the vast majority of Premier League games, we are going to be the better side in theory, and teams will be sitting back. So we have to find a way, because other than sort of 5 or 6 games a season, most teams will sit back against us.
I think, I do think we need to find another solution. I would be intrigued to see if Esteval starts more games, although I think you're kind of right, Tony. I do think that Maresca sees him more as a player who can come off the bench and make
20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
no, I don't agree with that. I mean, I see where his logic behind it, because he's thinking they're tired, and you've got an absolute whizzer that's going to test them, you know, whilst they're tired.
But when he comes off, he does make an impact, Tony. So massive. I mean, there's an argument that if you keep doing that and it keeps working, then
he has to be, in fairness, right? He has started more games, and I think probably any of us would have expected him to start before the season. Yeah, he has actually started a number of games. Yeah, you know, I think it works both ways. I think he has impacted games from the start, and he certainly impacted games from the bench. I mean, the only reason he didn't start this Forest game was because it was obviously a young kid, and they'd been away. Brazil had been away to Japan and South Korea on the international break, which is a lot of travel. He played in both games. Yeah. And that's why we've got a squad. Like, we shouldn't be in. I know we want him to play more, and you know he probably should be, but we don't want to be in a position where we're thinking, shit, we need to rely on an 18-year-old playing for our attack to work. Like, these other players have got to step up. And so Esteval will definitely start a lot of games for us. But I think, look, whether we like it or not, the right thing is for him to be managed and for him to be eased in so that he's not burnt out. I know it's so easy to just be like, right, we're just going to chuck this guy and we're going to play him every single game. But, you know, he does still need time to adapt, and he's still learning a lot as well.
It's true. I think set pieces is going to be very important as well.
Just quickly, you know, 11 of our 16 goals this season are from set pieces.
Yeah, we've been fantastic, mate. I was speaking to a Forest fan before. Wolfie passed them over. It's another guy, Ben. And he said to me, he was like, Alex, we can't deal with crosses. We're terrible at set piece. And I was like, oh, great. This is going to work well.
That's just the standard Postecoglou team. Can't defend set pieces.
We haven't mentioned the fact that he was sacked. Literally, I mean, it was very dramatic, weren't it, with the empty seat, you know?
Yeah, well, I saw it on Twitter. But when we were in the car park, I'm sure we saw a car. Did you see him walking out, Charlie? Because somebody said
no. Do you know, mate? That car wasn't for him, because I seen something on TikTok, and he just literally was sacked, and he just drove out in his own car.
I think that car park is usually underground or something like that.
I don't know, but mate, it was mad because, like, obviously didn't notice it in the stadium, but Marinakis basically left after 2-0. And within 10 minutes, he was like, within 10 minutes of full time, I think someone told him in a tunnel he was sacked.
Yeah, it wasn't even.
Didn't even do the post-match interview. Did nothing. He was told he was sacked. He said goodbye to the players, and then that was it. He got his bag and he drove home.
Apparently, he was escorted out of the building, wasn't he, by security?
I mean, fair enough. I mean, there's a part of me, like, let me ask you this, probably Charlie more so than anyone. Like, let's just say that you saw him coming out, would you let him be, or would you get right up in his face?
No. Why would you, mate? It's football at the end of the day. Like, why? I don't like. As soon as you cross the line and start being personal, why? You know, look, the guy has tried his best and it hasn't worked out.
I was thinking about that after, because obviously Glenn Hoddle was there, Peter Crouch was there, and I was like, I'm not going to go over. But I did think to myself, like, what would you do in that situation? Like, especially if I had like a mic in my hand, do I go up to him and go like,
nah, because
they're
not going to say anything. But like if I'd seen Ange afterwards, I would have more just got the picture for the banter element. But like, but like, you know, you would never be personal.
You think he would take the picture?
Yeah, mate. There was a picture of him in his car after the game. He stopped and took a photo with I mean, it was a child, to be fair, but he still stopped and did it, which is fair play to him, to be fair. But yeah, no, look, you can't start being personal with people. You can get frustrated with players, frustrated with managers, but you know, there's like football criticism and there's like being personal. Like there's no need for that, and I think that a lot of fans just don't.
The weird thing is, though,
differentiate. Yeah,
when their chairman went. Like, and it was all like the camera was zooming in on the seat, the empty seat, and that. Yeah, he missed Forest playing their best stuff, and I think we do have to mention Robert Sanchez, because he made a couple of decent stops.
Yeah, he did make a couple of decent stops.
And had it gone 2-1, you know, we do know that anything.
Done it.
It's a complete game changer, and you know, I suppose. Don't you think now, though, Robert Sanchez is? I know he's getting less and less and less of an issue in one's brain when you're watching, or you still feel the same way, do you?
Yeah. The same. Like he's always got a moment like that in him.
He's done better. There's no doubt. There's no doubt he's improved. But his shot stopping has always been good. That hasn't really been an issue. That's never been people's problem with him. It's the fact that like. He's always got these mistakes in him, and he'll do this. Like he'll go on a run of games where he does well, or he doesn't have much to do. He makes a couple of decent saves, but it's that dreaded feeling in the back of your mind where you're just waiting for one of those errors to happen, and you're just hoping it doesn't cost you.
But don't you think, though, that was more to do with the beginnings of his career, like at Chelsea, where he was being asked to do a different style, like, you know, the passing now. And if you remember, I think was it Maresca that basically said, listen, he's got to carry on doing exactly the same stuff, and I don't care how many mistakes he makes, So he almost had to get better over time. And we all know that in life, practice does make perfect, and you are going to get better if you work at something. And I just think he's got better.
He's got. I agree, mate. He's got better for sure. Is he a good enough goalkeeper to win major trophies with?
No, he's not.
He's not. But I agree with you that he is probably playing the best football he's played since he joined the club. And you could argue the bar's quite low because he's not been that good. But we criticise him a lot. I think you've got to be fair as well and say that, do you know what? There has been an improvement this season. Yes, the Man United thing was really poor, but outside of that, I know it's a major thing, but outside of that, he hasn't been a problem. Like in the games that we've lost outside of United, you can't really point blame at him for any of those.
Even with the Forest game though, like when we were giving the ball away, I was saying this. I was with Darmesh, and I was saying we might be giving the ball away, but we're not giving it away in a really, really dangerous area. Now, that was always the big issue. Like when we conceded a couple against Brighton last season and all the rest of it. I don't think there's anything more frustrating than just handing someone a goal. But if you're giving it away on the halfway line, you're trying to find a chip pass, like it's something you've probably practiced in training, or at least I hope you've practiced in training, and that's how you can see possession, then you've still got an opportunity to defend.
When he passed it directly to...
What's that, Tony?
I was going to say, the one that always sticks in my memory is the Arsenal one where we're cruising it to him. We really were cruising it.
Still haunts me, yeah.
And he passed it out to Declan Rice, didn't he?
That's the problem, those type of passes. But if it's just like your average misplaced pass, like you see Nick Pope doing it all the time, he hasn't necessarily got the best distribution. Like
always going to miss passes. Yeah. That's part of the game. But it's when you do it on a regular basis. Like people haven't got a problem if a few passes in 90 minutes go out of play. It happens. But it's when it's consistent and it's when it's in dangerous areas, or if you're under pressure and you're just putting the ball out in for a throw in and it's a poor thing. Like no one's moaning about the fact that, he's given the ball away on some occasions or a few passes have gone awry. That happens to every player, but it's when it's in dangerous areas, it's when it's under pressure. And I still think there's a bit of decision-making that needs to improve in terms of, if you're under pressure, just put your foot through it and go long. Don't try and play a pass that isn't really on just for the sake of, I stuck to the principle of play. And that's where I think we've let ourselves down on a number of occasions this season. I don't particularly mean in goal, but just in general, where players aren't using common sense because they're too afraid to change away from the style of play that's been enforced into them. There's certain occasions where, just put your foot through it, boot it into the stands.
He does that more though, so that's why I don't really.
He does do that more.
He does do that more, but I'm just generally speaking about that.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think that Sanchez has been a massive problem this season. He's obviously had moments, but if he was anything like last year, I think we'd have a huge problem. I mean, I lost my head over Sanchez was the reason I wanted Maresca sacked in the first place. That was the number one reason at the time. And so to go from what's that?
Because he persevered with him.
He did well.
He
did. I just thought to myself, I thought you got a better option with Jorgensen. We found that out. So now I just say, fair enough. You got no one better to work with. So that's what you've got. You can't control it, but I think he's a decent keeper for where we are at the moment. We'll definitely get Champions League with him. And I mean, he's shown
we're striving more than that.
He's shown that you can win a cup.
We're striving for more than that. And I'll be honest, I think he's the same keeper.
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying that we're going to win the Premier League with Robert Sanchez. I'm saying that we have won trophies with him.
Yeah, sure.
We have got Champions League with him. We're capable of doing that again this season.
Yeah, I agree. He's not going to be
what Chelsea are looking to do this year. We're not going to win the Premier League. I'm not saying that I want Robert Sanchez in goal. I mean, I'm not a fan of Sanchez as a package if you ask me to pick from all the Premier League goalkeepers. But in terms of what I've seen this season, if you're asking me what's the biggest problem at the club at the moment, I probably wouldn't say Robert Sanchez. I'd say, some of our defending at times. I'd say that left-hand side, we're not getting enough GA from players like Garnacho and Gittins. I'd say injuries can be a huge issue. I'd say Caicedo if he's not available. Those are the big issues for us at the moment, not the goalkeeper.
No, yeah, I think that's fair, and I think there's not really much more to add to that. I think that's very fair. Yeah.
Hey, but do I want a new keeper? Absolutely.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah.
I think Manyan is probably the obvious one. I think we're going to end up agreeing something with him in January. I hope we do.
Penders next season.
Yeah, Penders I think will be the keeper. Penders will be.
I mean, listen, I haven't watched a lot of Penders, but it sounds like he's doing okay, and it seems like Strasbourg are doing pretty well.
Strasbourg are doing well this season, they are. Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you this, guys. This is
the drew though with Paris, didn't they? Was it 3-4?
Yeah,
or something?
3-3.
Yeah.
They were 3-1 up, and then they sort of folded a bit towards the end, but they played very well.
Mm.
Like how they speak about players sort of adapting to different leagues. How does that work if you're a goalkeeper? Like, you do the same thing regardless of what league you're in. So for me, if you're performing in one league, you're perfectly capable of performing in another. I'm not talking about, like some average tin pot league, but the French league's all right. It's not the worst league. If you're a good goalkeeper in that league, I wouldn't say that you're going to be much worse in the Prem. So again, I'm not advocating for Penders. I'd still rather have Manyan, but
no, I think it's totally
playing well, then all the best to him.
It's a quicker game in the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more intense. The intensity
teams press more, and
but the goalkeeper doesn't have to deal with that.
Well, it depends on the keeper, and like you see it with Mamadashvili so far this season when he's played for Liverpool. Like, he is not as comfortable with his feet, and he's playing in a league where the pressing is a lot higher. He's having to use his feet a lot more than he's used to, and he's not great at it. With Penders, I don't know what it will be like. My issue with Penders is not the transition from another league. It's the fact that, and he's going to do this, he's making mistakes this season that led to goals. He was responsible for at least one of the goals in their loss to Monaco. You could argue that he was responsible for one or two of the goals they conceded the other night, or had a hand in one of the two of the goals they conceded the other night. He's going to do that. He's a kid. That's why I don't want him playing for us next season. That's why we should, like you said, have Manyan.
We should get Manyan. We should. And it'd be interesting to see what our recruitment, like what our plan is there. Speaking of which, little update for those of you in the chat who don't know. Dave Fallows, who is the celebrated former Liverpool recruitment expert, is set to take up a senior role at Chelsea. He's been approached by Agbali and his fellow investors to join a well-resourced recruitment team at Stamford Bridge, according to, I think it's the Telegraph. He's expected to have a range of duties, including scouting and data, player development, pathways and loans, and football operations. The latter is expected to include recruitment of coaches and staff as well as players. And I think in terms of notable signings, he was the guy who signed Salah, Mane, Robertson.
I thought that was Edwards.
Oh, was that Edwards? Was it?
Yeah, but I think he advised. Right,
because I thought that he was involved in that.
I'm going to be celebrating like off-pitch appointments. Like in theory, this sounds like a good appointment, but the reality is.
So can you tell me more about him? Because what I've read, it seems like he's pretty good.
He's like a recruitment guy. He's obviously worked with Liverpool when Klopp was there. He was the guy that was kind of the driving force behind, urging the club to sign Mohamed Salah, and he's been involved in a few other deals that have turned out well. Look, he'd be a good addition to the recruitment team. I don't know what his exact duties are going to be, and I don't know whether we'll notice like tangible differences with him coming in if he does accept the role. But it's not a bad thing. But I don't think it's something that we sort of should need to be getting massively.
It's interesting. I'm just intrigued by it.
It's interesting, but I don't think it's something to be like massively excited about. Well, not straight away.
He was part of the Liverpool. He spent 12 years at Liverpool.
Yeah. And
he contributed to multiple trophy wins, blah, blah, blah. But he's expected to join Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, Joe Shields, and Sam Jewell. He's supposed to be a big fish.
How many fish do you need?
I was going to say there's two things I have with this. Is like, number one is saying that he's responsible for these signings. Number one, at the time we were told that was Edwards and Ward. But now it's this other guy.
Yes,
it's also literally smacks of the Brighton thing of like, we signed Winstanley as our sporting director. Oh, he was responsible for all these guys they signed.
It's always positive PR, yeah.
Then he wasn't. It was actually Sam Jewell when we signed Sam Jewell. He was responsible for all these guys they signed, but they've both left and they're still signing the same type of guys because it's actually neither of them who's responsible is Tony Bloom, because he's the one that's implemented their data-driven thing because he uses it for his other clubs as well. When Man United got Dan Ashworth, he was responsible for the guys that Newcastle signed, but then it fell apart with him, so maybe he wasn't. Like, it's just like PR. It's like, who could Vivell when we got him? It was he was responsible for Haaland and all. It's like all you're doing is like, he was at Liverpool at the time they signed a bunch of good players, and he was at Man City before that. He was part of the team responsible, so he had a hand in that. He probably was part of the same group. In terms of Julian Ward probably had a say. Edwards probably had a say. Whoever else they had a say. So it's like everyone has some level of involvement. It's just like I'm just going to wait and see who we sign, because like if who we sign doesn't change, then it doesn't really matter. The other thing is, like you said, Alex, how many more cooks do you need in this kitchen responsible for signing?
It's like a 6-man thing now.
We've got Joel Shields, Winstanley Stewart, and now this Fallows guy, and there might even be one more.
You've got 6. You've got Sam Jewell, Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, this Fallows guy, Joe Shields, and there might be one more that I can't remember.
To give everyone a bit of context as well, so you've got Winstanley and Stewart, who are sort of at the bottom. You've got Shields just above. You got Sam Jewell just above.
I don't even think he's them
because Sam Jewell is in charge of the multi-club
global recruitment for Blueco. So
he deals with Strasbourg, Chelsea, all of that sort of stuff. And then I guess this other bloke will just be Chelsea.
He's got a title already. He has already got a title. I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
I mean,
let's find out. Let's find out.
He could end up being a technical director, because both Strasbourg and Chelsea have already got sporting directors, but there's no technical director. So he could end up being a technical director. He could end up being someone who is involved in under the Blueco umbrella. He might not even be specifically Chelsea. It could be for the whole thing. I don't know, but look, it is what it is. If he comes, great. If he doesn't, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys know any information as well. Also, for those of you asking why we didn't release fan cams yesterday,
we couldn't be asked.
It's not. It's not because we're lazy. It's not because that we had a problem with the microphone and it didn't work. So we basically recorded for I don't know an hour, and all of the video footage was silent. We couldn't get any sound on the video. So that's why there's no fan cams. It's not the first time. I'm sure it's not going to be the last time either. This is why we need Cam. We need Cam back in England. He's on holiday in Spain.
He's back now, I think.
Oh, is he back?
Yeah.
We need to stop eating tapas and get behind that camera. Cam, we need you, mate.
Tapas eating prick. Get back.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that. I guarantee he's going to come up with a comment in a second. But, I don't know. With this Dave Fallow thing, I don't know. It's just interesting to see like what the structure is. And
apparently they were all at Forest, all of them together, weren't they? The whole management team.
Stanley and Lawrence Stewart were there. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw. No, Sam Jewell was there as well. Joe.
I think they all go to a lot of the games. Sam
Jewell is at every Strasbourg game.
So I'm on a Liverpool site now, and they're saying it's basically our game, their loss, and they're saying that he's got an eye for solving squad problems even before they surfaced.
Well, let's see if we get a centre back and a goalkeeper.
No, but those problems have surfaced.
Yeah, he's a strategist as well. Apparently, he's a strategist as well.
Sure.
I mean, yeah. Well, look, let's see what he does. You know,
he's clearly been successful.
Yeah, I mean, sure. No one's knocking at. He's been successful.
12 years at Liverpool. Yeah.
Let's see what he does when he comes.
Let's talk about. We haven't spoken about Cucurella, you know, because apart from I know defensively there's things we could have done better, but I think Cucurella was pretty good yesterday.
Games are both good. Yeah.
What do we make of his performance?
Look, it didn't get forward as much. Sorry, he didn't get forward as much as he normally does, but he was defensively solid. He was on the ball a lot more in the second half. Yeah, just a solid performance, mate. That's kind of it. There was nothing particularly bad, but there weren't like anything particularly amazing either. It was just solid, which is sometimes good.
It's probably the first game I've seen of his in a while that I haven't noticed him like at all. But I think that's more because Forest, from what I can remember, did nothing down that side. Like even when they made changes, it was like Hudson-Odoi came on the left. It was like I don't even think Gibbs White moved over to the right. If he did, I didn't notice him at all. Like he didn't have anything to do because I don't remember Williams really attacking that side much apart from when he got that chance in the second half. But that wasn't Cucurella's man. That was getting to the time. I don't remember him really having anything to do.
We had the
I can't remember the last time I said that about Cucurella again.
I suppose
we
when
had
you're
the right share possession
of
the ball, so it wasn't like they were attacking us from open play, and it was all coming from them, from working the ball from back to front and creating opportunities. Their chances came from our errors, our mistakes, just a poor pass, and then they're latching onto it or whatever. I don't think there was anything really where. Like they were, really honest, like sort of pressing and doing all those that sort of thing. It was more a case of our errors, basically, that led to them coming on our goal. But really, we were pretty much in control because we had possession of football, 74% apparently in that first half. It's a lot of possession, isn't it?
It ended up 50-50, Tony. So it's interesting seeing how it changed.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah,
it's not about what you do with the ball at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, that's the main thing. Like, possession's only relevant if you're useful, if you're efficient with it. So that defensively weren't actually that bad. Yeah, a few shaky moments here and there, but we were actually I wasn't that bothered by us defensively at all.
No, I think it's always it's a weird thing to say, because if we said it about an attacker or a midfielder, you'd criticize it. But when you don't notice a defender, generally that's a good sign. It means they're not doing anything wrong. So that's always positive. One thing I want to give credit to straight away is before Reece James scored that third goal, I don't know if you remember that there was a chance outside the box, and he went in for a shot, and another player went to block it, a Forest player, and the collision. I don't know if you remember the sound, Charlie. The sound.
I think like a shin pad on shin pad noise.
Oh, mate, it was so loud. It was like I honestly thought someone's leg was going to get broken. I haven't heard anything like that. I don't think I've ever heard a noise like that at a game. It was really well. I know you have to be brave, but still credit where credit's due. And then straight after that, we win the corner, and then he scored.
Reece James, yeah. This was when he went ploughing through, yeah. Well, that's good, isn't it? That shows that he's resolute and strong. You know, that's what we've always wanted.
As long as his body can hold up, then that's all I care about. Even sometimes watching videos of him celebrating, Tony, I'm like, don't pull a hamstring, mate. Just walk to the touchline or something. But yeah,
Reece James one side, Cucurella the other. We've got no issues with that, have we?
We've got the best. We've got the best fullback
in the league. It is,
100%.
It is for sure.
And then you've got to say our midfield is quality. Just that our midfield yesterday, first half, was weak. Let's have it right. Gusto, Labio, Santos, right? That ain't, that's not Enzo. Caicedo.
But this is the frustrating thing, though. Is like you go through the team and we've got a lot of good players, but it just feels like every transfer window that closes, we're always saying, we're 3 or 4 players short. And it's every window we're saying that. And that can't keep happening because so far under this ownership, we signed a lot of players. We signed some good players. We signed some not so good players. But we haven't yet given any manager a complete squad in terms of quality and in terms of quality in the required areas. And that's the frustrating thing.
Levi Colwell's a massive loss right at the start of the season.
Big miss. He shouldn't be, though. Like, he is obviously important, but he shouldn't be. And I think that's what comes to it. I think we've got 4 players in this team who arguably are the best in their position in the league. You've then add to that, you've got other players of quality in terms of Joao Pedro. I think Esteval is there currently and can get even better. I think you include Enzo in that as well.
Who's the 4 then?
For me, it's Reece, Cucurella, Caicedo, and Palmer. You can make an argument in their positions they're the best in the league. Three of them for me currently, because of injuries, are the best in their position in the league. The only question mark or the only argument is Palmer for me. The other 3 currently, because of injuries, are best in their position. There's no one on their level. The only person who is, for me, with Caicedo is Rodri. Maybe Wharton, but Rodri's injured. No one else comes close. But so you got those 4. You add on to that Joao Pedro, Esteval, Enzo, and you've got like the makings of a great team. It's just the other positions are so lackluster. Nothing in terms of wingers. Like Pedro Neto's decent. Whether he can be a title-winning winger, I don't know. None of the other wingers right now are good enough. None of our centre-backs outside of Josh right now and Cole will look good enough or can stay fit for any meaningful period of time.
Do you not like Tobin then?
The goalkeeper isn't good enough to get to that position.
Yeah, sorry, Tosin.
He's fine for a squad option, but he's not someone that should
be fine if you want to get top 4. He's fine if you want to get top 4.
I'd have him in the squad if we win in the league, but I just wouldn't.
As a 4th or 5th choice,
he's a great player to have in the dressing room, mate. He's uncontested, mate.
No problem.
But you've got to think about these things.
But he shouldn't. I've got no problem with him being in the squad, but he's not someone that, if you're going for Premier League titles and Champions Leagues like we are, that should be playing regular minutes for the club. That's the reality.
He is. If in a title-winning team, he should be playing max like 700 minutes a season.
But he would be playing.
He's someone that
maybe a couple of Champions.
Yeah. He's someone that you bring in.
Yeah. There's someone you're looking for him to play you're looking for him to play maybe 15, 20 games a season across all comps.
Honestly, at this current point in time, I'd include Chalobah in that as well in terms of how he's playing. Like, I like Chalobah, but he's basically in the same.
But he should be a squad player as well. But this is the point.
He's a guy that plays.
Who do you prefer out of the 2?
They're both as bad as each other. They're both as bad as each other. I'll be honest.
Fofana, he's the player, isn't he? Really, but he's just not fit. And sometimes Badia Shield plays well, but
he has a couple of games, and then he gets injured, and he's just building no momentum.
I hope that Josh Achimpong plays consistently well this season. That gives us a genuine excuse to sell Fofana.
for him
I
on
don't think
high.
that's
I'll be
gonna
honest, just on that, 'cause I think on both of those points you made, Alex, because I want to touch on both of those. Number one, just in terms of sellings, we should be selling 4 centre backs this summer. Sorry,
You
in
said
the
that
summer.
before. Yeah, I've heard you say
Yeah,
that. But
like-
you want to bring in like 2 or 3 as well, don't you?
But yeah, because we've discussed this before.
Currently,
Go
I bring in 1. Like in January, we should be bringing in 1 guaranteed, like type A centre back. So I don't know
We've
who
got
that would be right
got
now.
Hato,
Like I'm not
though.
going to try and come up with names because he's
What
not.
about
Like,
Hato?
I'm talking at a. No, I don't want him and Josh playing together, and I want Josh starting every week at this point.
He won't play 2 teenagers.
Like someone, he won't play 2 teenagers. I don't want him to play 2 teenagers as well. But someone like a Gabriel or a Saliba or someone like that centre back who can come in and be what we wanted Cole to be before his injury, and that's who I want to come in January. Spend whatever, what Fofana should be. Spend all the money you have available in January on that type of player. And then I'd have that as the centre back. You've then got Colwell when he comes back, you can rest him. You've got Josh as the third one. The other 2 I would have as Sarr. And then if he can stay fit because he's got injury problems at the moment, and Anselmino, if not, you go and get another backup, but you can go and spend 5 million on that backup. Every other centre back we have should be sold. Because Fofana and Badiashile can't stay fit, and for me, Tosin and Chalobah just aren't good enough. And if I'm going to use those squad options for guys to play cup games and develop, I'm using it on Sarr and maybe one other. Because they're going to offer me more, or the mistakes they make are going to lead to something better than the mistakes I see from the experienced guys. The other point I wanted to make as well, as I mentioned earlier, the issue, I want Josh to start every game. Him and Estevar are in the same boat. I know we touched on Estevar earlier. They should not have to play or start as many games as they have to. The reason they have to is because the guys ahead of them are just terrible. But Josh has to play I don't care who plays next to him. It's pick your poison. He has to play every league game going forward. Champions League, league game, he should be starting every game going forward.
He need the problem is though, like he needs someone experienced alongside him, and that's basically means a Tosin or a Chalobah. But again, I think probably the best pairing is, I mean, in an ideal world, the best pairing is probably Fofana and Badiashile, but we're just never gonna be able to see that. So I think you're looking at Achimpong and then Tosin or Chalobah.
Tosin.
Yeah, it could be. Although, to be fair, though, Maresca seems to like Chalobah quite a lot because Chalobah's played every game this season, bar the one that he missed for getting sent off. So Maresca clearly likes him, clearly rates him. But the issue is, though, if it's Chalobah and Josh, we can't keep playing Trev on the left side of defence every week.
And Josh can't play that side either.
Do you know what? He's like one of those players that nobody talks about him in a negative light when he's got experience around him and he's got other players doing their job. But as soon as that onus is on him and he has to be that leader, then I do feel like he struggles.
But this is why
relying on him every single week.
That's what we should have signed a top
viable. But I mean, in that sense, I do think Scott's right in terms of selling 4 centre backs. I will say this as well: you're kind of forced to, in the sense that when you look at the financial regulations, you do have to sell youth players. That's just part of what football business is now. And Tosin fits into that as well because we signed him on a free. It's like, why wouldn't you take, I don't know, 15, 20 million? If that's money that you can use to reinvest on more young players, they can then make a profit on that. That is the whole business model that Blueco pride themselves on. And if you can bring in like a top centre back as well, like, you'll keep the fans happy as well.
From a numbers perspective, 3 need to leave minimum because we've got 6 currently, that's too many. 5 is the maximum you want to have, really. So 1 has to leave, and then the 2 guys they've got coming back on loans, they seem to like those guys, especially Sarr. So 3 need to leave immediately, and that's not including Disassi, who I don't even include as part of this, who is technically still here.
Nino as well, who's out on loan.
That's what I'm saying. So 3 of the guys we just mentioned need to leave. I would imagine it's at least one of Tosin or Chalobah goes. I'd imagine that's Badiashile. Still, 1 more needs to be sold.
I suspect it could be Fofana if he doesn't stay fit this season, or he's not really play, or he's not playing much. I think that he'll go. This is his 4th season now. If he's not reaching the levels or he's not playing on a regular basis, I think Chelsea will look to move him on. I still really like him. I still think when he's fully fit and playing at his best, he is our best centre back. But
I do, yeah.
but those days are few and far between at the moment. And there's only so many seasons you can keep saying, "Oh, you know, this is his last chance," sort of thing. You know, this is his 4th season at the football club, and he needs to be playing regularly. He's fit now, and Marissa just didn't pick him in the Forest game. Maybe he plays against Ajax. Maybe he plays more going forwards. But yeah, look, if he's fit, he should be playing every week. There's no reason not to be playing him.
Let us know what you think in the comments as well, guys. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We should be on at least around 100 likes, guys. So smash that like button. We're on. We're slacking a little bit. We're on about 60.
100 likes is the tune, isn't it?
Yeah, 100 likes, and then you get Charlie singing a song. If you get to 150, Charlie will sing and Scott will dance. All right, so
run
them up. All right, run them up. Get the disco balls out. We're having it large tonight. But yeah, I think the centre backs are a really interesting discussion. But we're definitely going to have to sell someone. I don't know about
regardless
4,
anyway for UEFA. We have to
at least two of them. I don't know enough about Sarr to really comment. From what I'm hearing, Anselmino's doing pretty well.
I think Anselmino's injured now. When
he was fit, he was doing quite well.
He played one game and he got injured.
Is that
he played really good in his debut. Yeah, he had his debut, played really well, and then has had 2 hamstring injuries since.
Yeah, he played one game this season, and he was decent in that, but injured.
And those he's now had 4 hamstring injuries in his career.
Wow, isn't that brilliant?
Including the Super season. So.
Absolutely fantastic. We love signing injured players, don't we? We love signing players that don't get injured.
I think we signed him when he was injured, by the way, as well.
Fair. Big up to Philip as well. Oh, what is that? Whoa,
Rangers in it.
No, I need to do my. Charlie's doing that thing again on StreamYard.
What thing?
There you go.
It's extending it.
Oh, there you go. All right, I've got it now. Now you know when you get the weird designs and you don't.
Oh right, yeah.
StreamYard's reset me for some reason. Big up to you, Philip. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat, mate. That's very kind of you. And good evening as well. Guys, put some questions in the chat as well. We are going to do a quick Q&A towards the end. So any questions that you've got, we will try and answer as many as we can. Again, big up to Philip. What's that, Scott?
There is one player I want to touch on we haven't touched on because I think he deserves it from the performance against Nottingham Forest.
Sure.
And that's Marc Guiu.
Yeah.
I think my God, yes.
If anyone came out of that game with their stock raised, it's him. Like, he's not incredible. I'm not going to sit here for a minute, but he doesn't have to be. He's 19. But when he played, number one, you saw immediately how much better Joao Pedro got. And I disagree with something Charlie said at the start of the stream. I think Joao Pedro was decent the first half. He just had, he's got no understanding, or not he. Other players that were around him had no understanding of how he wanted to play and link up everything. So it just looks like he's coming deep to pick up the ball. No one's really understanding on the same wavelength. You see when he goes into the 10, he's just a better player. He is just a better player. He can link better. He has a runner behind him because he's got the striker. He is just more effective. That's number one. So you're getting a very good player in our team, I think, in better form and in better spots to do better things. So that's immediately a positive. But it's not even like he wasn't a positive himself. His fundamentals are good. I'm not surprised. He came from Barcelona. His first touch is very good. His ability to shift the ball with his feet is good. He needs to work on some things just in terms of your normal striker stuff, like anticipation in the box. It's still decent, but anticipation in the box, getting in those spots to finish. But he needs to be starting more. We've used him already, so we don't have to worry about, he might be sold in January, but he wouldn't be able to play for 6 months, so that'd be kind of pointless.
Well, unless he goes to Sunderland.
Yeah, unless you send him back to Sunderland when they now already have 3 strikers, so he'd now be 4th instead of 3rd, I guess. He should be playing. He should be getting more minutes. He should be playing against Ajax. I think he will with Joao Pedro's suspension. He needs to get more minutes. He looks decent. Again, he's not incredible. He's not going to be at this point, but he improved the team when he came on. He gave us a better option than having Joao Pedro up front.
Yeah. And he improves it in a sense that he makes Joao Pedro better because he puts Pedro in his head. Pedro gets on the ball more.
The first goal comes from him occupying 2 centre-backs, so Achipon's free in the box.
But that's the thing, though. Even if he's not even if his finishing's not the best, even if he's not amazing, which he's not, just having someone up there who is occupying defenders makes such a big difference.
Totally, and as I say, it makes Joao Pedro a better player, doesn't it? Because he's playing in his natural position. It all makes sense. Completely.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this a number of times before. Like playing Joao Pedro up front on his own with no creative number 10 behind him is pointless because
it's completely pointless.
It's a complete waste of time, and that's why I've said, like, whilst Palmer is obviously a huge miss, Delap's actually a bigger miss because Pedro playing off Delap is. I'm looking forward to actually seeing that on a more regular basis, and I think that's going to make a massive difference. But with Guiu, whilst Delap's out, use him because that for me is just obvious. It's the obvious solution to the issues we're having because the last 4 or 5 games that Pedro started up front on his own, whether it's his fault or not, probably a mixture, he's just not in the game. And if we can negate that with options that we have, then we need to be doing it more regularly than we have been.
Another thing about Marc Guiu is you don't realize how big he is until you see him in person.
Yeah.
He is massive. I remember when I saw him in pre-season when he first come to the club. I mean, he just looks like another player. But when I saw him, he is up there with one of the big strikers, and nobody ever really talks about that. Like he can cause other problems apart from pressing. Like he's a physical presence. I do think he probably should have scored a goal yesterday. He had 1 or 2 sort of half opportunities. It would have been nice to see him get on the end of it. But like the reaction was positive. Like he uplifts the fans as well. And I know that that's not everything because you still want to see end product. But when you see the fans getting up for it, you can feel that energy. It does go back onto the pitch and then other players will respond to that. You see your striker pressing on the front foot and you're a winger and you're not on your man. Obviously, you're thinking, right, I need to do this now. I need to get there. So, yeah, I'd love to see him starting against Sanchez. As we said, he probably will. I'd love to see him start a couple of Premier League games, to be honest with you.
He should be starting the next 2 games. He should be starting.
This point is very much relevant as well. If what Charlie's saying is something that will really happen, if we are going to see Joao Pedro playing in the 10 more, then that actually gives Palmer an option to rest at times, and we're not overly reliant on him either. And you can have Delap when he comes back. You've got Guiu in that position as well. So you've only got 2, and then you've got Joao Pedro who slots in with Palmer. Not so great if you're Buonanotte, but you can't have it all in life, can you? So I think that makes it seem a lot more.
The Buonanotte thing was
Buonanotte never made sense.
It never made sense, but
by the way, Buonanotte was all right. I can't remember the last game. Did he play against another team after?
He played against Lincoln and then he played against Benfica, and he's not been seen since Benfica.
I thought he was okay against Benfica, but nothing special. And I thought he was pretty positive against Lincoln, but again, these are like snippets. You don't really have a chance to shine when you're not given an opportunity.
I mean, I'm not really surprised
you're never going to choose him ahead of the others, are you?
He's on loan as well with no buy option. So what's the point of there's no point in playing him because obviously if he's part of the team, you kind of need to utilize him when need be. Like yesterday, for example, I'd have preferred to see him in midfield or him at the 10 and Andre Santos in midfield over Gusto, but he's going to go back to Brighton at the end of the season. So I'm not developing a player for Brighton, especially when we don't need to, like we just discussed. Play Joao Pedro in the 10, Guiu up front, problem solved. You can then have Enzo and Caicedo pivot, and it just works.
And even Enzo in the 10 is actually probably better for our setup than having Buonanotte in there anyway.
So, just for the record, Simon Phillips, you've probably seen this anyway from his Substack, said that Delap's recovery from his injury is going really well and he's expected late October, early November to be on the pitch. And it was suggested that he wasn't going to be back till after the new year, sort of January time.
Yeah.
So if that's
was that back for training though?
It's been a weird one with Delap because it was initially meant to be. It's just gotten longer over time, and this is the first time we've heard that it's going better than originally thought because
that's right.
Extended so many times.
Yeah, his recovery is going better and quicker than first expected. There is a good chance that he appears in the matchday squad by the end of 2025. Well, that's December, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Late December.
Yeah.
But even if he comes back, there's going to be precautionary measures. They won't play him straight away, which I think is the right decision.
Oh no, mate, he'll be.
There's anything worse than rushing a player back. But you see it so much.
We're pretty unlucky, aren't we? I mean, are we saying that the Club World Cup kind of has kind of messed around with. I mean, we're unlucky, aren't we, with injuries, aren't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not just any old player, is it?
I think some of it's unlucky, some of it is a lack of preparation. Like, no one's going to sit here and say that Fofana and Badiashile was unlucky or Lavia is unlucky. That's at this point just who they are as players currently. Yeah. That one is unlucky because he had to play the whole of last season for Ipswich. He was one of their better players. He didn't even really play that much in the Club World Cup, considering he only started the first couple of games. Didn't even start the first game he was fit for.
No,
he started the second. Yeah, he only started a few, especially after Joao Pedro then came in as well. So he just got mad unlucky. Trying to think who else we had injured as well. Like Enzo and Caicedo, it was going to happen, especially after last season and the lack of depth we had in that position. Yeah, and then outside of that, some of it I think is luck, and some of it is just unlucky, I should say, and some of it is you can't help it with other players.
Every team.
Fofana is fit to go. He's good to go.
Oh, he's fit to go. Yeah, he's fit to go.
Yeah, he wasn't picked yesterday. He just wasn't in the match they scored.
But there is a certain amount of injuries before it does. Your level just goes down and down and down. And I don't know if we're going to see that with Fofana. We haven't really seen it with Lavia yet.
The Fofana one was weird though, because he come off a concussion. So it wasn't like he come off of because he played games, then got concussed by Jorgensen.
It all pays its, it all adds up.
100%, but him not being in the squad was him not being on the bench, not starting. I understand that. The fact he wasn't in the squad was kind of weird.
Hey, let's go through a couple of questions. Unless there's something else we haven't spoken about. Is there anything we've missed?
Ajax, have you mentioned Ajax?
We're talking about Neto.
It was great.
Didn't really speak about Gusto that much, I'm honest. Either, but
well, do you know, I'll be honest with Gusto. I agree that he's not naturally suited to the midfield. I will say this: there's a couple of times in the second half I thought he made some really good passes with his weak foot. Quite progressive passes. That doesn't mean that everything was good, but I think he's certainly trying to adapt to the role. But you're never going to pick him over anyone else in that midfield, are you?
No, the only thing I'll say about him is for me, I said this last season, I just reiterate this point, he has till January for me until he becomes a lost cause. Because the stuff we're asking him to do, you can't tell me, and I'm not a massive Cobham guy, you can't tell me Genesis and we can't do the same stuff. You can't tell me that you can't find some Cobham player to do the same stuff he's been asked to do. You just can't.
You are right. I don't know. Hey, we'll see what happens. But yeah, what about Neto, guys? What do we make of that free kick and also the assist for Josh as well? Because that was a clean assist. It was right on the play.
Really good, and that's all we're asking for Neto. It's all being banged on about it, just a bit more end product, and obviously he produced with that cross, which was brilliant. And the free kick was a good free kick. Obviously, I think the goalkeeper, having seen it back, could have probably done a lot better. You just kind of push it in, but positive performance. And Neto's obviously performing really well this season. But one thing I've always maintained, if you're going to be going for a title and you want to win Premier Leagues, Neto would be a squad player in that situation.
He has to be more consistent. I do think as well, I've said this before on other streams and channels, I like him on the left because you saw the goal we scored, because he has that ability to get past the player and hit that cross first time. On the right, even though I know a lot of people say that's his more natural position, he has a tendency to become predictable because he always wants to cut back on his left and hit those in swingers. But you sort of he's got a really good delivery. I think that's the one thing we can always say about Neto is his delivery is very good. I'd say 90% of the time.
Great attitude.
Yeah. But I think he should be playing. Give him some more games on the left. He's had very good games on the left. You see, obviously, the delivery of balls he's putting in. Whoever we have up front, by the way, whether it's Joao Pedro, even though he's not the tallest, he's still good aerially. If we have Guiu or Delap, they're good aerially. They'll get on the end of those crosses. As long as they're in the box, they'll get on the end of those crosses.
Neto's valuable. Neto's valuable because he can play both sides.
Yeah.
And obviously he's got the defensive work rate, but we just need that end product on a more consistent basis. But he's had a really good start to the season.
And he can play a false line, can't he? Where he just drifts and
Yes, he filled in well last season. I mean, it wasn't ideal, but I thought he did pretty well.
Cole Palmer, his potential return is the 3rd of December.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you've got to be very careful, though, because of
so that'd be Delap and Palmer back at the same time.
Roughly.
I mean, I take that with a pinch of salt, Tony. Because
but it says here, this is on the.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, he'll be back in the squad, but is he going to be back to what we need him to be at that time?
Enzo Fernandez, the 22nd of October. That's not too far away.
When he might be back for Ajax, maybe.
Hey, let's go through some. Let's go through some points. Let's go through as many questions as we can. Let's go with this one, Charlie. Chelsea boy says Pedro is better as a 10. I presume he's talking about Joao Pedro.
Yeah.
Although at first I thought he meant Pedro. Now I was like, hang on a second.
No, he's better as a 10. I think we can all admit that. Pretty. He can obviously play as a 9, but you've got to have the creative number 10 behind him, as we've discussed. And you put him in a 10, and he's much better, no doubt.
Tony Lula says we can cope without Palmer. What's your take on how we're going to play up until he does return? I mean, we've got quite a few, a couple of months.
Well, we don't have a choice, but luckily the fixture list is, and we say this with all the greatest respect, right, is looking quite favourable. But it's those games where we tend to drop points. We've already kind of discussed that, isn't it? Look, we're just going to have to work with what we've got. There's not really a lot we can do about it. Obviously, we're so much stronger. I hope he's back by the looks of it. But that's his return time. When's the Arsenal game? What time's the Arsenal game?
November 30th is Arsenal.
Yeah. So it's touch and go on that one. So maybe, listen, we can cope without Palmer, but we can't cope without Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo. Do you see what I'm saying? And we, we've just got to learn to deal with things until he comes back.
Yeah.
What you can say is in the second half of the season, we should be very strong again. And that's the time that matters, isn't it? In that little running. So
well, we had a good finish. We didn't have a good second half of the season, but we had a good, last little run.
Strongly, yeah.
We finished strong, but it was like, fucking hell. Like, I thought it was like a boxing match, and you thought you were down and out. You've been knocked down 3 times, and then somehow you've managed to end up winning the fight with some dodgy scorecard, or maybe you got a knockout somewhere. But yeah, very, very positive in the end. But how we got there was painful. I don't want to go through that again. That was
last
tough.
game.
Yeah, you don't want a last game situation. No.
I mean, listen, people really took the mickey out of us for how we celebrated top 4.
No,
we deserved that.
But it was more the fact that we've not been there for 2 years. That's the reason. We wouldn't if we get top 4 again, then we're not going to be celebrating like that.
I mean, it depends on the context, Charlie. If you were lagging behind the whole season and you managed to pull your way through, I think it's worth it. Although I say that we were right up there and then we sort of went back down, didn't we? So yeah,
we never really should be there. We was in not saying a false position, but we know. I mean, listen, we've got young players, and it's unfortunately we got the way our owners have set everything up. It's all about time, isn't it? It's time, building something for sustainability and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not like immediate impact. If we wanted to win the league, we certainly, like from day dot, from the moment they came in, we certainly would have done things the way we have.
That's
we
true.
would have been going for immediate impact to players, and we haven't done that. Arsenal are doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why we need them to fail.
Scott, this is one for you. Magnanimous Boy says, what about the red card crisis? Another red card loading versus Ajax.
Oh yeah, someone will be sent off against Ajax. Yeah, for sure. I don't know who.
Oh yeah, probably like
at this point.
Just put money on at this point. The red card whole thing is just weird. I've maintained it because like I up until the last 2, like I'm just looking at players. I don't think it's been a discipline issue. I think it's just been a like stupid error sort of thing. Like you look at the Sanchez one, the Chalaba one. What was the other one apart from that?
Oh, Joao Pedro's 2 stupid bookings against Benfica.
Not that one. What was the other one?
Stupid.
Because we had 6 in a row now.
No, but you include that was including the manager. It's been like 5.
That's including manager, but yeah, there was one other one I'm trying to remember. What was the other one I'm trying to remember?
Gusto.
There was Gusto, there was Chalaba, there was Sanchez, there was Joao Pedro. There's been 4 in the
There's
last
Maresca.
5.
And Maresca, yeah.
And Maresca, yeah.
5.
Oh, okay. Is it 5 then? Okay, yeah. I look at the
4 players,
like the
one
Maresca
manager.
one. I don't. The Maresca one I don't really blame. Like that happens in terms of terms of celebration. I don't really blame that. The Sanchez and the Chalobah ones, that's just mistakes as a team. The Joao Pedro one and then the Gusto one, like the Joao Pedro one is stupid. The Gusto one from yesterday, it might be the stupidest red card or 2 yellow cards you're ever going to see. Like
There's no need to do it.
3-0 up. You're 3-0 up in the 86th minute. They're in their defensive third. It wasn't even like they crossed the halfway line.
No.
You're not getting that ball. You have no need to dive in. Like, I actively celebrated when he did that because he's not playing against Sunderland. That's how bad it got. But yeah, like it's those 2, the last 2 from a player's side are the first 2 I can say of all the red cards we've got where I can say, okay, like that's a discipline issue because it's too stupid. It's both of them are 2 stupid yellows to get and are unnecessary. I think, and I mentioned this when we were backstage as well. I think it's mostly the red cards, like just being a young team and just like kind of a lack of experience is the wrong word, but a lack of like know-how, a lack of understanding of game states where you're at as a team. Because I do think a more experienced player in that position that Gusto's in yesterday doesn't dive in like that. Just kind of tries to stop the player from just tries to stop the attack. So like, for example, if Reece is in that position, I think he just tries to stop the attack. I don't think he dives in like that. So that's I think what it is. But yeah, it's weird. Like apart from that, I can't explain it. I don't understand why we keep getting red cards.
In the Ajax game at home, they had 2 sent off, didn't they?
They did. They did. That was a very.
No,
they had 3.
Suck.
Didn't
Oh my
they have
lord!
more than that, Tony? Didn't they play with
no, it
9?
was 2. It was 2 on the spin, wasn't it? Red, you know. And we had the penalty, so it was like 3 beautiful things that happened, wasn't it?
Oh,
because it was.
If only that final goal would have counted, the one from Aspi. That was the one that got disallowed, wasn't it?
I want to ask a question of you guys, if you know. On this occasion, Ajax supporters will be there. Is this right? Wednesday night?
Yeah, should be. Yeah,
you would presume.
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember they were banned?
Yes,
because there was actually about 1,000, weren't they, in the West End, right up the gods? Do you remember?
But they weren't making any noise.
No,
really. I mean, it wasn't like your garden.
No, but I'll tell you what, you know, if we've given them, if they're all turning up and that, it'd be an interesting night. Let's put it that way.
We've got a good history. We've got a history of having some good games against Ajax.
I mean, Ajax are very good at the moment, but yeah,
they are terrible. Like
they're really struggling.
Not very good is putting it lightly. They are woeful.
Well, then should be an easy night.
That 4-4 game, though, was for me. Probably one of the greatest. You know, it was that atmosphere.
Tony, you have to say, I think the best one is United at home.
United at home's good, but I think Ajax was good. You know, especially when we thought we'd won it.
Yeah.
And Reece James, was it Reece James?
Reece James scored in that game. Yeah. And Ziyech was unreal for Ajax in that match as well.
Yeah, that's why we bought him, I reckon.
Yeah.
The arrogance when he was, do you see his little sort of celebration, wasn't it? When he sort of basically scored from the corner flag. It was a quality game, wasn't it?
That was a good game. Did you cry, Tony? Did you cry?
Did I cry?
Did you cry? I always say that the best games that you watch, like you cry.
Yeah,
that's how good it can get at times. That's how good it can get.
There's context again, isn't it? It's not like
I cried when we beat Man United 4-3. I cried during that game. What else again? I've cried at 2 games. I cried when we lost against City in the Carabao Cup final, when Kepa refused to come off.
Sorry,
and then when we scored that last minute winner, mate. I thought, oh my god, that was arguably the greatest night I've ever had watching Chelsea. From like an emotional, just stimulation. Oh my god, that was. And I was in Porto. Porto was great, but fucking hell, Porto was a different kind of game. It was like,
were you crying in Porto?
I wasn't, mate. No, I wasn't crying in Porto. I wasn't crying in Porto. I'll tell you a funny fact about Porto, right? So I lost my passport, and you had to. So this is when I was already in Portugal. I'd lost my passport, and you needed to have your passport to get the ticket for the final.
Ticket, yeah.
and I didn't have my passport. And they're going like, fucking hell, Alex, what are we going to do here? So I was with a group of like, I don't know, 6, 7 people, like family, friends. My dad was there. And they basically went, listen, Alex, we're all going to go together. And because we've got our ID, we're going to just presume that they're going to accept that you actually have lost it and you are who you say you are. So I sort of stood in the background. Everyone got their tickets. And then obviously it came to me. It was my turn. And they were like, he doesn't have his ID. And so Steve, who's the guy who helped me out.
Yeah.
He basically said, he was like, listen, he's a young lad. He's come all the way here, blah, 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 you know.
But
and they ended up giving me
without
the
a
ticket.
passport.
No, but I had a passport, Tony, and then I lost it in Portugal.
But how did
I
you
lost
go?
it there. So after I got my ticket, maybe 4 hours later, whatever it was, a taxi driver came by the hotel and he had my passport. It was inside the taxi. And so I gave him like 20 euros or whatever. I was like, thank you so much. I think I took a picture with the driver. I was so grateful. I was like, I'll probably put it on my Instagram. I was like, this guy has saved me. But yeah, that was a crazy trip. Funny enough, I've lost my passport again, so I'm going to collect one on Wednesday, because otherwise I won't be going to Baku. But yeah, I've had 3 passports in the last 12 months. I lost it after I come back from Panathinaikos. I literally got into Heathrow, got out the airport, lost it in the airport somewhere when I'd already gone out, and then obviously I've lost this one here as well now. So hey, there's a fun story for you. I've got a question for you from Stuart, Tony, because I feel like this is probably right up your street. This type of question. Winstanley and Stewart fumbled Elise, Osman, Simmons, and got in Sanchez. Penny pinch over Manyan. They need sacking up the Chelsea. I'm going to guess Stewart is an old school fan. What's your take on this, Tony?
Well, it is true that those players were linked with us, and for a fucking long time as well. Excuse my French. And we allowed Spurs to grab 2 players that I felt we would have been a better side had we got them. So you could argue that we kind of, it's hard to understand. I can't start throwing out accusations that, you know, you've got their priorities wrong and everything else. But it does make you wonder where we were seriously concentrating on Garnacho and things like that, where we kind of let things slide. I think we'd all agree we'd be better had Manyan been our goalkeeper this season. 100%. I think we were all buzzing when we heard the news and gutted when it didn't happen. Elise, you know, it's just quality street, isn't it, Joe? And Simmons, I mean, that must have been the longest saga. I mean, I can't. Every 2 minutes, or the deal is done. It's just waiting now for terms to be agreed, and this and the other.
Do you know what's funny though? He's actually been pretty crap for Tottenham.
But he's a good player, though, isn't he?
I haven't heard anything about him.
Canati, he was the one that got off West Ham. We had first.
That one.
Kudos. And we had first dibs on him. That was our player. We could have got him all day long, and we really, really.
To be fair, we chose not to get him and got Palmer. So that was should have got him from West Ham instead of spending money on Gittins and Garnacho.
Well, this is my point, yeah. So I completely and utterly get what you're saying, Stuart, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, it's very questionable, isn't it? Everything, but by the looks of it, they're not going to change things, and hence the news now about this Liverpool guy. It looks like it's same. And then maybe you can bang their heads together, and maybe, I mean, I really do feel that it's not, we're not after an immediate impact. We're not trying to win the league. We're not being serious enough to say, right, we're going for the title. And I take that all the way back to the time when they bought our football club in the very, very first moments. If they were really serious about carrying on the continuity factor, in other words, being in finals, winning trophies, blah, 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 then all that money that they spent, I dare say, all of us could have bought 3 or 4 absolute superstars and turned us into just to raise the levels, raise the bar. And we would have been in a much better position, but they haven't done it that way. They decided to clear the decks and change the whole philosophy. And they're trying to make a profit, aren't they? They're buying lots of young players with potential. We all know what they're trying to do, but yeah, I mean, obviously those players there, I think it is questionable why we didn't persevere with those opportunities, and why we kind of I mean, I don't really understand the Garnacho one, really. Not truly. I really desperately want him to work. I want him to be a success, but I still don't understand it. You know.
I understand that more than the Gittins one because we just overpaid for Gittins. Like, I think Garnacho, we're unhappy because we could have spent less, and United are unhappy because they wanted more. So that's fair. But Gittins, we literally just got our pants pulled down. I mean, 50 mil. I mean, that was a joke. I wouldn't have paid 30 for him, to be honest with you. I mean, that would be the max. So that's a really difficult one to read. Sorry, Scott.
I say the Garnacho one makes less sense though because we signed him after Gittins. Like, whether you think Gittins was the right signing or not, once you've signed him, signing Garnacho as well made no sense. Like, you have two young wingers who need to develop, who aren't good enough to start with us. Both of them, it's way too early to tell, but might not even be good enough. Full stop for us. So
I would have kept. Yeah. I would have kept Jadon Sancho as well. That's just my.
Well, he was more concerned about money, so the.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think just in terms of a player.
Oh yeah, no, I think it would have been more beneficial to have him in the squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Than the other two.
Charlie, this is a good one for you. Can we please talk about Joao Pedro's becoming more and more invisible? Is he just missing a number 10? Or does
I think we've already covered that. Yeah,
I know. It's just more of a direct question and answer.
It's not his fault either, is it? Because he's being asked to do a job that he's, so he's doing the best really that he possibly can. But yeah, we need.
I saw Donna's comment.
We need a number 9.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Delap comes back. He'll make a big difference. Yeah.
Like a loyal member, as soon as I got some money from my part-time gig doing some stripping, I am back as a loyal member of the channel. Well, it's good to see you, Donna. Things are working out well after the Tottenham job. Welcome back to the channel for the 7th time, 8th time. It's been a while. We've been in and out, Donna. This is like a toxic relationship, but let's find some stability here.
Did she say she's a stripper, Alex? Did you say?
Well,
I think it's
a stripper, but I mean, to give you context, Tony, she used to work for Tottenham, and obviously she's lost her job.
Oh,
so now she's finding a new way to make ends meet, and she's obviously supporting the channel as a member. So big up to you, Donna. Appreciate the support. But yeah, Donna's been around for a while, Tony. So she's very well known around these parts.
You're very cryptic here, mate. You know.
No, honestly, look her up. Look up Donna Cullen.
It's not the actual Donna Cullen, by the way, just to let you know.
Oh,
you never know. It could be the real one.
Donna Cullen. I'm checking you out. Like we'll do.
Andrea says, "Send us your page, Donna." JM4PM says this is a 10-year plan in which they won't let overachievement affect their long-term decisions. We're overachieving currently in their eyes, I believe, hence our behavior in the market.
100%. Genuinely couldn't agree more. Like their plan, based on what we've heard, based on their actions, is that they see a title challenge either next year or the year after. It was a 4-window plan. I think we can come to assume or deduce it was they meant 4 summer window plan, which would take that to be either last summer or I think that's next summer. Would be the 4-year plan. Do that with the signings. I think you see that with their stance on the centre back thing. They've gone all in on Anselmino and Sarr, who aren't ready to play for us currently, but theoretically should be ready next season. Obviously, whether that remains to be the case, we'll see the rest of this season. Same with Penders. Same with the striker situation in terms of even if you thought Joao Pedro and Delap was enough for this season, I don't think that's enough next to challenge for the title currently. With the winger situation, I think you just see with the way they handled the summer window just gone, you see this to be correct. The fact that we had the summer window we had with the Champions League speaks volumes because we could have done every signing we made without the Champions League. I think that's exactly how they're going about it. And even when they have the chance to push the issue or to push us forward and take advantage of other teams being crap or getting in a spot you didn't expect to get there, We saw it last January. We're second in the table, just needed nothing, literally nothing. So
Do you think they'll get to the end of their 10-year tenure and then we're still in the same place with reference to the stadium? There's supposed to be some information coming pretty soon, isn't there?
I'll be honest with the. This is probably. I don't know. Maybe Alex and Charlie will be different for you because obviously you go on a regular basis, but I genuinely the only change I see making to the stadium with the progress how it's going so far, unless there's a dramatic turn, is we probably get an extension. Like we probably just do some development on Stamford Bridge itself, and that's about it.
Well, they won't do anything. They won't do anything while Clear Lake is still here. So I mean, to give you,
I'm more saying the Lake.
We spoke with some people.
I'm more saying I think Clear Lake. I don't think that the pitch owners will budge, and I don't think that Clear Lake will provide them with a good enough. Because there is probably
Clear Lake don't care. That's the point, Scott. Clear Lake don't care about a new stadium because it's a cash deficit. Like they want cash flow, so they can prove that they're profitable, so they can sell Chelsea for a profit. If they have a stadium, then they have to pay that stadium off. Sorry,
but can also just as a caveat, I guess, right? What do you think about all this Saudi talk then? Because there's apparently.
There's always Saudi talk. I mean, Charlie's the man to talk to about Saudi.
Saudi Arabia will never. Are we talking ownership? Are we talking sponsorship? What are we talking?
Yeah. No, we're talking
sponsorship,
ownership.
Holidays.
Saudi Arabia will never own another Premier League team after the whole Newcastle.
You don't think so?
Well, they technically own us, don't they? Because of their links with Clear Lake.
I don't think unless the Premier League are going to get some, which they might get some huge payment under the table. The amount of grief they cause Newcastle because of the whole debate, I don't think they'll ever allow another Saudi ownership.
But when you say grief,
they might allow
because they're not able to spend as much money as they actually have. Is that what you mean?
No. In terms of when Saudi were going to become Newcastle owners, it was because of being sports. I think largely, but there was a massive issue of them becoming owners. And I just don't think. I also don't think they'd allow Saudi to own another club because of the conflict of interest thing. Like they might allow like an Emirati owner to own a team, or they might allow Qatar can't do it.
We can't get a Qatari.
Oh no, it's. I don't think.
That's a.
Aren't Man City? Who are Man City owned by?
Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's UAE.
Qatar
might be fine. I don't think they'll allow another Premier League team to be owned by another owner that like another nationality in terms of for one of those countries, if that makes sense. Like because I think especially with you've got the issue of like they might all be working under PAF, so then you get the whole multi-club thing. Like it's just a massive grey area, I think, for them. So I just don't think they'd ever allow it unless they were to get huge payments off of it, which could happen.
Fair. This is an interesting one. We'll finish on this question. I think this is a good question to finish on. Totally off topic, but which of you inherited supporting Chelsea from your family and who started supporting them on their own?
No, mate, it's standard as family, isn't it?
Fair. Me too.
I was on my own.
Is it?
I was born.
Yeah, most of my family were United supporters.
I was born Chelsea Westminster Hospital, and my dad and my uncle, and pretty much most of my family, Chelsea. My mum, however, is a Gooner, and in the early stages, she took me to Arsenal to try and convert me. But my dad was having none of it, and so was my uncle. In fact, my uncle was a season ticket holder in the East End when it was first constructed, and the rest is history, as they say, isn't it? But yeah, I think most people kind of do it through family, don't they?
That's
successful
the
teams.
Although, I mean, I see some of the kids because obviously I coach kids every day, and I've got this one kid that I coach, and he used to come every time with a Man United shirt, And then he
Man
comes
City.
the other week with a Liverpool shirt on, and I was like, how does this work? And he was like, those are my teams. And I was like, okay, next week I want you to wear the Liverpool shorts. I want you to wear a Man United hat, and I want you to wear a hat of a different team. Have the trio on there. So we'll see if he comes and does it. But I don't know. I used to have arguments all the time about this with people who weren't really into football, and they were like, "Oh, I'm going to support this team and that team." I'm intrigued, Scott, like how you got into Chelsea, because if you don't have an affinity with the club in terms of family, it's hard to gravitate towards that unless you're just going. Or maybe this was the case, to be fair, because however long ago, whenever you started watching Chelsea, I presume this is when we were doing pretty well.
I think
not me.
I think I started like fully supporting Chelsea. This wasn't actually intentional, I don't think, in 2004.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Great. Yeah, I'll say good timing.
Great timing.
But yeah, like, I genuinely don't know what it was like that made me start supporting them. I think, like, as it's turned out, what's it called? Vicinity to where I was born has somehow come into it, like completely unintentionally. But yeah, I genuinely don't know, because, like I said, like most of my family members, like both grandparents on both sides, are United fans or United supporters. My dad used to support Leeds. Yeah, so like there was literally no one in my family supported Chelsea.
How old's your dad?
60 something.
Yeah, so he would have hated Chelsea then if he was a Leeds fan from that era, because it was it was very ferocious.
So I genuinely no idea how like it just happened, but like since 2004.
Well, they were brilliant. Leeds were brilliant. I mean, seriously brilliant in 1969, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. Leeds were very good. They were called Mighty Leeds. I swear. I mean, they reached they got to 75 European Cup final as well, and they got beat by Bayern Munich. But Leeds were really good, That cup final with us since 1970 was
yes,
they were the favourites.
Lots of fouls, if I'm not wrong, or lots of dodgy challenges.
Yeah, I mean, now I think if it was refereed today, I don't think anyone would have been on the pitch.
On supporting teams, though, just quickly before we end it. Fun fact, though, the first ever game I went to was a Tottenham game. I walked out at halftime. This was really young. Like, my dad took me to a game. It was Tottenham versus Southampton at Tottenham. I was so bored because at this point I wasn't really into football. I was so bored we left at halftime.
Not Tottenham Chelsea, Tottenham Southampton.
Yeah, it was Tottenham Southampton. Don't know why he took me to that game of all games. I think it was because it was near where we had like living at the time or whatever. But yeah, left at halftime just because I was bored.
Fair play. Well, there you go, guys. A few fun facts there. What was your first game, Charlie?
I don't know. I think it was in like maybe like towards the end of the second Mourinho season, potentially, or just after that. I can't really remember.
I think my first game was
back to back season.
Yeah, potentially one of the games then, but I can't remember.
I think my first game was Fulham in the Prem when Ancelotti
was like sort of 09-010 season.
Yeah, I went to the FA Cup final as well. That was again early.
That was my favourite times then.
Yeah, it was good.
Ancelotti.
Yeah, I think we were brilliant, just brilliant.
And now
we spanked a lot of teams. We put 7 past Villa, 8 past Wigan, 7 past Stoke, I think, 7 past Sunderland. We were amazing.
Yeah, we ran up some big scores.
We've gone from the likes of I'm trying to think of players. Who was in our forward, like Malouda,
they've scored loads of
goals. Anelka, Garnacho, Gittins.
It's incomparable. I mean,
Marc,
we had Ancelotti's team. Do you remember that first? We had what do you call it? Deco.
Yeah.
Yes, love Deco.
And we had Michael Ballack, wasn't it? Was it Michael Ballack was in that particular team? Was Michael Ballack the season after?
No, he came.
No, he was.
He came with Mourinho, Ballack, but it was like the last. Wasn't it the last season of Mourinho?
The third one.
Yeah. Because he came that summer, him and Shevchenko.
The second one.
Yeah, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Well, the Shevchenko was a Roman signing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mad.
He still scored a lot of goals for us, and that goal he scored against Tottenham was just
No,
as
he
well.
still scored. He wasn't awful, but compared to what people are expecting, it was obviously massively underwhelming. But he weren't dreadful.
Hey, well, listen, we're gonna
Tony Cascarino up front for us, or Kerry Dixon, and
no, there's some good ones. To be fair, one thing I haven't done much is like I don't know if you guys do you ever rewatch old matches? Like
all the time.
Very rarely.
I used to do it all the time, Tony, but I don't do it as much now. I used to, honestly, all the time I used to go through the match, and they used to have the DVDs about the season. Used to see all the highlights from every single game.
I've got quite pretty most of them actually.
I don't do it anymore. I need to do that again because it's nice to reminisce.
Do you remember? Was it Blue Tomorrow? And what was that? What was the one where Mourinho watched it and he was sacked the day after? Because they filmed him.
We played Rosenborg in the Champions League, and
it was 1-1, wasn't it?
1-1, and you got binned the next day.
Yeah, binned.
Hey, well, listen, big up to all of you. Really appreciate everyone that's watching in the chat as well. If you haven't smashed that like button, please do. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show as well. It's been a bit longer than usual, but listen, it's been enjoyable nonetheless. Go and subscribe to Charlie. Go and subscribe to Tony as well. We've got Blue Brother and Chelsea SW6. Those links are down below in the description. So don't be shy. Share the love. And if you want to follow Scott as well, where can people find you, Scott?
Twitter, but probably not as active as it should be. I think my handle's ScottyPage132. And yeah, that's about it. Instagram, if you fancy it. I think it's ScottyP120. But yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment. I'll be on a stream later on this evening as well. On Casually FC. So go check us out on it.
Awesome. Well, listen, we'll leave it there. Really, really big thanks to all three of you for coming on as well. I've enjoyed it, and hopefully many, many more good shows, many more positive shows. But you never know what's going to happen. But fingers crossed. We'll see you again on Thursday, guys. After the Ajax game, we'll do another one of these live shows. It'll be a 10 p.m. jobby. But yeah, we're going to leave it there. All the best, guys, and we will catch up.